You're looking good, Mr. Andrew.
Oh, I don't know about that.
All right, let's say hello to everybody as they come on. Everybody, we're in for a rocking hour here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everybody is excited, Andrew, to see you because the last two times you were on, we got tons of amazing feedback about you. So
Uh-oh.
dragged you out again. All right. So hi Amanda. Hi David. Hey Dr. Art. Long time no see. Alina, Federico. Great to see you. Jim, my friend. Leslie, Linda. Hey there. Mary, Mike Paul in the house. Peter, Ross. Good to see everybody.
Is that my Federico?
It's
Oh,
our
brother.
Federico. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
Federico. What's up, brother?
All right, let's jump right in because we're going to need every minute of Andrew's expertise here. So, folks, let me give you a sense. If you don't know who Andrew is our company's go-to resource for all things AI, all things Google Business Profile, all things search engine. This guy's an absolute guru. Okay, and he's an awfully nice guy. And Andrew, I'm going to ask you a personal question right from the start, just so that people get a sense of who you are. People know that you're an ex-cop, you're an ex-Marine, you're a current geek, always has been. You always like to tell that story. But we had some people ask about, like, how did you wind up being a Marine? Like, tell us the story.
Okay, so when I was in my teens, early teens, my cousin David was a Marine. He was a radio man. He used to joke around that the fastest mammal on the planet was a radio man because the enemy always wanted to blow up the radio man. They didn't want to just kill him; they wanted to blow the radio up, right? So, anyway, long story short, I really like. I looked up and I respected my cousin, and his father was a Marine Raider back in World War II. Lied about his age, got into the Marine Corps, volunteered to be a dog handler, got put into the Raider Scouts as a dog handler. And I had read articles about him and everything else. And he was a very gentle man, very kind man. Um, Never talked about anything like, of the war and everything else. He was in World War II. Wound up becoming a motorcycle cop down in the NYPD in Highway 1 for 35 years. Just unbelievable stories. So I knew I wanted to join the military. My father used to talk about David all the time. So for me, it was sort of like, wow, my dad is really, he's really proud of him, like this, that, the other thing. So I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? I want to join the military, but if I'm going to do it, I want to join I want to do it. Like I don't want to just like kind of dabble with it. I want to do it. So there's nothing against the Army because I actually did 2 tours in the Army, well, a tour and a half in the Army after the Marine Corps. Um, Nothing wrong with the Air Force. Actually, if I was smart, I would have joined the Air Force because they have the best freaking living and the best of everything, right? The
My
Navy,
grandfather was in the army, and he got so jealous of the Air Force guys that he
oh,
wound up
please.
switching over. And
Absolutely. The Navy, I don't know. The Navy just wasn't for me. I'm not into bell bottoms, like I don't know. It wasn't really for me. But I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it the toughest. And I joined the Marine Corps and I decided to go infantry. I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be a grunt. I want to have the full experience. And I did, and it was really cool up until the first 5 weeks when like you're sleeping in a ditch and it's pouring on you, and you're like, wow, so this is what it is. And I'll tell you what, though, it was truly one of the best things that I ever did in my life. But it gave me so much. It gave me so much fight in me. It gave me so much purpose. It gave me so much direction, and it gave me a lot of discipline. Um, and to be honest with you, some of the greatest guys I've ever met in my entire life, I had the opportunity to meet, and I still keep in touch with them today.
well, that's awesome. And thank you for your service. And I know that about you, that the discipline is a huge deal. And I know you bring that to what you do for SEO. Right? You are all about like the consistency and all of that. And so I think we're getting such a big turnout today because a lot of the people really want to know the best practices. Because oftentimes, Andrew, especially around the beginning of the year, the period that we're in now, if you do some research about SEO, you get all these articles about the 100 things, the 200 factors, the this, that, and the other thing. Okay. And you're always telling me, listen, it's actually not that complicated.
It's not.
And there are certain things you need to do. and there are certain things that you need to keep doing, right? So it's about that discipline. So I'm going to start us off in this conversation, Andrew, before you get into all of your fireworks with everything else. We're going to concentrate on the basics. So I know that we have, just looking at the list here, I know that we have a lot of entrepreneurs on, small business owners, and so forth. And there's a split between some people that have physical locations, like, restaurant owners and that sort of thing. And I know you do a lot of work with local businesses, right?
Yes.
But also we have a lot of people that are more virtual. They're consultants, they're coaches,
Yep.
and that sort of thing. So I know what you're going to say the answer is going to be, but I want to ask you, now that we're in 2025, in terms of the secret sauce, is it still all about content, putting content out there on a regular basis?
That's a good portion of it. The
Okay.
problem is that a lot of people just put out content for the sake of putting out content. So
hmm
yes, it's putting out content, but B, it's putting out the right content for your business and for you. Um,
Now, before we get into that, let me just ask you. So when we say put out content, are we talking about in a blog? Are we talking about on a person's Google business profile? Like where is this content best put?
yes. So the answer is yes. So the answer is Google, and let's face it, we're talking about Google right now. We're also talking about, we should be talking about the LLMs, right? All the AIs, the Perplexity, Gemini, ChatGPT, all of them, because pretty soon, if not, I mean, I know it's happening already, but pretty soon you're going to start to see a lot of traffic coming from those LLMs. So we want to be talking about all of it. We want to talk about it all very holistic, right? So Google, though, is still the 800-pound gorilla in the forest, and Google loves to see freshness, right? So they love to also see that and so does a lot of the other social media platforms and everything else. They reward freshness. And the more content you're putting out, the more visibility you get, especially on the social media platforms. But with Google, especially. However, there are a lot of times that people put out an article. So, I do a lot of work within the automotive industry. I do a lot of work within the dentist industry. So put out content that's like, how to save, how to get better gas mileage, like let's say in the automotive industry. That to me it's a waste. Okay, it's a waste of time. You're competing globally for those keywords, right? I'm pretty sure that a small little dealership is not going to outrank, Auto Trader or, cars.com putting out content about that stuff as well. So I think that the content is better served on the local basis. Spend your time making that local content. And we'll discuss what local content actually is, but that's what I believe. I believe like right for the user that is going to be potentially your customer. Okay. I don't need to write an article in the automotive, like for an automotive dealership that I'm going to worry about somebody I'm in New York, right? So I'm going to worry that somebody in Portland, Oregon is going to find it. I don't care about that dude in Portland, Oregon. It doesn't really matter to me, so I say put out content that is going to reach the users that are potentially going to be your clients. The simplest way that I can say it, and this is, if you walk away with anything today, this is what you should walk away with. SEO is about what do you do and where do you do it? Answer those two questions and you're a winner, okay? Now, let's say you're a dentist. So yes, you're a dentist in wherever. Let's say a dentist in Manhattan, New York, okay? Now, you should be writing content for every single one of the services that you offer, right? You should be talking about, teeth whitening in Manhattan, New York, and tooth extractions in Manhattan, New York. We don't need to stuff it so it doesn't sound natural, but that's the type of content you want to talk about. What do you do and where do you do it? And I know that there are a lot of consultants that basically also can, cover the entire United States and then some. I did a lot of work in I did a lot of work in the diamond industry. We got on page 1 for the word diamonds, loose diamonds, engagement rings. I mean, those are like hard hitting keywords. And those were global. We were looking for, I was working for actually multiple companies that I'm sure most of you guys have heard of if you've ever done any searches for diamonds or engagement rings online. And once again, they weren't local. They were all pushing now online sales. So we were looking for anybody, anywhere. So that content was a little different, right? But so you got to make the differentiation between a local business and like what I call a global business or a national business. And then you'll start to understand what your content is. I'm also a firm believer of Google gives you the map of what content to write. If you ever do a search in Google, do a search of a question, or you can go to, really what it comes down to is it's the people also ask questions that show up in the search engine results. You click on one of them, it expands, click on another one, it expands. You start writing content to answer all of those questions. Google just gave you the map of topical authority right there. Like that's it. I mean, these are the questions that people at Google is saying, people are asking these questions. And you could take a look at what the answer is and just write a better answer. I mean,
Right.
it's really that simple. So,
So before we dive into that, I just want to read out a question from Federico. So, and I know Federico has this on his mind because we've discussed it before, but he was talking about your point about keeping it local. He's asking, what do you do when the where is everywhere in the US?
right.
So, right. So before you answer though, let me also say something though too. Federico, before you dismiss, so I understand that you're willing to get on a plane, and folks, Federico does videography, storytelling through visual, photos and stuff. Brilliant, brilliant work. Before Federico, you say, "Oh, well, my service area is the entire U.S." because I know you're able to jump on a plane, okay?
And he does.
But and he does. But Andrew, isn't it true that even though his services are across the United States, he has an amazing opportunity because you and I recently we've been in projects with him where he went to Gorham, Maine or Summerlin, Nevada to do work. Shouldn't he have a blog where every time he goes on an assignment, he comes back and he said, "Hey, I went to beautiful Gorham, Maine. Here's some pictures, blah blah blah. I did some work and I've shot this amazing crew of a dental team over in Gorham. Here's what I did, blah blah blah, whatever. Here's my results or whatever." Now suddenly, yes, he can serve all of the United States. But every time he goes out somewhere and writes it up, he's going to be creating content that's going to rank locally for people in Gorham, Maine.
Absolutely. And yes, I mean, that is an awesome opportunity, and that's right. I mean, he can start writing content for almost anywhere he wants in the United States, or wherever he's willing to go. I also highly suggest, because part of SEO is also working on his Google business profile, if he has one, and really drill into where he's located and then expand out from there, right? So yes, every place he goes, he should be writing content for 1,000%, but he should also be concentrating on his home base, if you will, because your Google business profile is your knowledge graph. It's your main line right into Google to tell Google everything about your business. And the greatest part about it is that every time you write a blog post, you can take a small summary of it, put it on your Google business profile, link to that page, and now Google's going, okay, this photographer is now also talking about Summerlin, Nevada. This photographer is also talking about Gorham, Maine, right? Because he can just write up a summary, and like I said, it says learn, you have a call to action button, it says learn more, and you just put the link right to the blog post that you just wrote. And now you're telling Google directly. It's sort of like, it's no longer hearsay. You're testifying to Google of like point blank, this is what I do, and this is where I do it.
Right.
And you're feeding it right into Google. So that's why a lot of people say, well, my Google business profile, it really isn't that important to me because, I travel all over the United States. So why do I care that I'm in Miami, Florida,
Right. Well, so if we can dive into this for a second, because I think a lot of our members get confused about this point, okay? Because Andrew, a lot of our folks are consultants or coaches, meaning they're not a local carpet cleaner or pizza shop or a restaurant. So immediately they think, oh, Google Business Profile, a maps listing is not for me. Can you just tell us why that thinking is faulty and that a virtual business can indeed have a Google Business Profile set up? How do you do that? And like, what's the importance of that?
Okay, so every single person that has a business, okay, they're even allowing some e-commerce sites now. They've been playing with it to actually create a Google Business Profile. The reason being is Google defines everything as an entity, whether it be a person, whether it be a business, whether it be a recipe, whether it be a book, it doesn't really matter. They refer to it as an entity, okay? So your Google Business Profile is what Google knows directly from the person that they know is responsible for that entity. Because you have to verify that you are, in fact, responsible for that entity, whether it be through a video recording or answering the phone number that's listed or getting a card in the mail, which they've kind of X'd out, or getting an email at the same domain name that you registered your Google Business Profile. But the importance of it is really multiple fold, if you will. It's a direct line, as I was saying, into Google and saying, hey, Google, this is what my business is about. This is what I do. These are all the connections. This is my Instagram. This is my Facebook. This is my YouTube. This is my LinkedIn, because you can put all your social profiles in there too. And every time you post on your social profiles, there's a chance that those start showing up on your Google Business Profile as well, because Google's been playing with that.
And actually, I think people don't realize that Google Business Profile has a whole section where you can put blog post type content.
Blog posts,
Actually,
yes, and that's what I was referring to before.
do you mind sharing your screen and showing us like a Google Business Profile that you work on for one of your clients and just kind of give us a tour that of those of us that are not so familiar with Google Business Profile and what are the things that you do to optimize it?
Sure, you know what? Just give me 1 second on that, because I restarted my computer when last night, because I had 25,000 screens open. And
No,
my
I know
computer,
you like to have as many windows open as I do. And
my
while you're doing that, while you're bringing your screens up, I want to acknowledge Dr. Art's question and then have you comment on it, Andrew.
sure.
She's asking Google Business Profile versus LinkedIn for B2B. So he provides B2B consultation, services and so forth. So, I know he's been very active on LinkedIn. So in addition, what's your opinion of LinkedIn? And also, should he go ahead and start beefing up his Google Business Profile?
Okay, so I would never say that LinkedIn is not important. It is. It's a huge opportunity to really network with business owners and B2B and even B2C. And it's huge to build up your LinkedIn. Tremendous. However, I'm a firm believer that you should not ignore your Google Business Profile. I believe that your Google Business Profile should be the core and everything else should grow from it. So I know people that basically make a living just off the networking that they do on LinkedIn. I mean, and that's gigantic, However, I would never turn around and say, hey, you know what? You don't need to worry about your Google Business Profile. It's
Right.
just, unfortunately, it's not, it's something that you almost have to add to the mix. Does that make sense?
Yes, for sure. All righty.
Okay,
So
can you see my screen?
yes, we can see a Google Business Profile Manager. So I see that this lets you, I guess because you're the manager of multiple GBPs, that you can access them all from one console.
Exactly. So,
Right.
right here, we're at Google. And in order to get to your Google Business Profiles or, your Google Business Product Dashboard, you just go to business.google.com. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to move our images away. So, once again, these are some, I mean, I manage over 1,500 automotive Google business profiles, and then I have tons of others in all different industries. So I manage a lot of Google business
Wow.
profiles. It's like a lot. But let's just jump into here. This is a great example. Okay. So this is a company, like I said, they sell lapel pins, and I'm in all disclosure, I'm involved with this company. But we sell to everybody all over the world. Okay. I mean, we have clients in Australia, we have clients in Austria, mostly in the United States, but we do sell to absolutely everybody. However, it is extremely important for multiple reasons. Okay. Every single time I post on here, and I'll show you what the posts look like. Every time I post on here, Google learns what we're about. Also, when people want to do business with us, they're going to Google our business name. They're going to want to see what do our reviews look like. Okay. So Google business profiles, besides just being the main line into Google to give them information about your company, it's also something that people will check out to see if they want to do business with you. It's one of the biggest verifiers of, do I want to do business with this company? If you start looking at statistics for local businesses, the statistics are so high off the map. How many times do you guys like look for a business online, right on your phone, and the first thing you do is you're like, okay, well, this company's not that far away from me. What do their reviews look like? I mean, it's just everybody does it. I do it.
Yep.
Everybody does it. So long story short, and I'll talk to you more about the reviews. There are definitely things that you can do to boost your reviews. I'm in the process now of creating a whole system for people to be able to boost those reviews. I always say that if you got more reviews than everybody else in your industry, in your area, then you become the obvious choice. If somebody has 300 reviews and everybody else has 15, you become the obvious choice. Everybody looks at it, I want to deal with that guy. I don't feel like dealing with the guy who has no reviews or one review or whatever else. Like people, they're new, or they're small. The guy with 300 reviews, they look at and they go, okay, well, you know what? If that many people think that this guy is great, then you know what? I should jump on board and I should check it out. Okay, so as we were talking about, you can add products into your Google business profile. And these are all the images. And the photo statistics are insane about if anybody over like 100 photos gets like, let me just see if I can pull it up here. Photos.
So these are photos related to your business that you've uploaded.
The ones that you upload to your Google business profile.
Right. Yeah.
I can. Photo stats. Now, okay. I'll have to bring it up. Actually, I think it's in my email. Photo stats. There we go. So this is a buddy of mine that I sent this email to, but here, these are the statistics. Businesses with over 100 images on their Google business profile, this is all Google business profile, get 520% more phone calls, 2,717% on average, more direction requests, 960% more search views. And you just see, I mean, 3,459 more map views. And it's because Google's a narcissist. Google wants you to feed them. It wants you to feed them constantly, often, and a lot. And Google will reward you. The more that you touch your Google business profile, the more Google rewards you. You can
tell us what you can set up there. So now we see that you can set up pictures. You can also do posts.
So you can set up your business name. You can set up your categories. You can put a description in, the date that you opened, your contact phone number. Now they just added chat. This is brand spanking new. So if you are any sort of business where you really want somebody to get in touch with you quickly and not go on to the next person on the list, Google now will let you get, text messages through regular SMS, just put your phone number in that you can receive text messages, or through WhatsApp. If you're using WhatsApp, you can use that as well. Allows you to put your website in, all links to your different social profiles, a short name, which really means absolutely nothing. It's like, I don't know, I guess Google found it important back in the day because it was part of your Google Plus, but they kind of just kept it in there. Your address, the areas that you serve, and once again, the United States, New Jersey, New York, Westchester County, Manhattan. I mean, you can, if you're global, if you're national, you can just put in United States, put in a couple of the big cities in the United States and kind of call it a day. Put your hours in, special hours, like if you're open or closed, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all that sort of stuff. More from the business, they want to know, are you, what's your accessibility?
Oh yeah, so if you go up there, I see that you identified as a veteran-owned business right
Yeah.
there.
So right here, I can click on this if my computer will allow me to. I'm running really slow. Well, anyway, I can go in here and it asks me, do I identify as Asian owned? Do I identify as veteran owned? Do I identify as Latino owned, Black owned, LGBTQ owned, woman owned? Google they want to promote these things. And once again, here with the crowd. Now, I don't want to get into the politics of anything. I don't care what anybody believes. I don't care what you can do whatever you want to do, but I can tell you that if Google is a very woke company, and I don't care who I sell to, I'll sell to anybody. I'm LGBTQ friendly. I'm alien friendly. I mean, I'm talking about alien from Mars friendly. I'm friendly to anybody who wants to spend money with me, but they will promote me higher because I say, yes, I am LGBTQ friendly than if I'm not. Okay, like I know that sounds crazy. You can put in the payments that you offer and everything else. So once again, there's tons of different things that you can, provide to your Google business profile that allows you to tell Google directly, like, I am the owner, I am the person in charge, and I want to show you this. These are what my business. This is the things that my business does. I can enter in all the different services, which I really didn't do here because the shoemaker never does the right job on his own shoes. And I can put in, I can go in here and I can say, we offer, custom cufflinks, okay? And I can save this, and then I can put a 300 word description in about what it is. I highly suggest everybody to fill out every single one of these. For every single one of my clients, I fill these out like to the greatest extent humanly possible. Then what I can do is I can go over here and I can add an update. And this is like the blog that you were talking about. I can add a post. I can select an image. Hopefully no bad images show up here on my, whatever. I can, select this image, let's say. And I can write a whole up to 1,500 word, like mini blog, if you will, about, let's say, this particular design or whatever else. Then I have all of these call to actions. Book, if you have, let's say, a calendar invite where somebody can just book a time with you, you just click on book, order online, you can send them to a particular product. Same thing with buy, learn more. I can put them to a blog post about whatever it is that I'm trying to make my post about. I could just do a simple call now, and that just displays my phone number. But once again,
can you show us the front end view of like what you do for one of our dentists, for example, what as a consumer, what somebody would see?
Sure. Let's just do
and then I have a couple of questions that have been piling up for you.
Yep. Why can't I type today? Okay, so let's go here instead. Hold on 1 second. So let's just say I'm somebody doing a search for this particular doctor, right? And this is the search that comes up. Everybody has seen these before. This is what we call the knowledge graph or the knowledge panel. This is what Google is displaying about what it knows about your business. It has the link to your map listing. You can see the photos, you can see outside photos. I have a couple of plugins.
Oh, and I see it shows the categories. So if you didn't fill
Well,
out all the categories, it wouldn't show up.
It doesn't. This is a
Right.
plugin that I use that kind of
okay.
X-rays into behind it. So I can see what all of my competitors in that niche, the categories that they're using, because categories are, it's a big deal to get the right categories. It
Mhm.
shows, once again, it shows the appointments. It shows up here, it shows the website, just as I was showing you before. Directions, the reviews. You want to make a phone call to the business. It shows the address, it shows the hours. It gives highlights. Highlights about the dentist. It talks about the popular times. It actually tracks your phone. Remember when, we talk about, oh, this Google track, they track you and they track you for reasons like this. They want to be able to, produce to people like what busy times are at businesses. So it's tracking people that have Google's location on, and it's creating these popular time trends. It shows you all the reviews here. And people click on these reviews all the time. They want to see exactly what it is. It also is showing reviews from this thing called Patient Connect 365. First time I've seen this, because they'll pop different ones in there outside of just Google reviews. But you can click on the Google reviews and you can read all of them. You can go and you can sort by the newest, the lowest. So, unethical, blah, blah, blah. And there are ways to get rid of a lot of those if they violate Google's policies. Here's the newest. Here's the highest. People aren't always, and some business owners get really upset if they get a bad review. And I always say, like, if you have a 5.0, something seems a little fishy, right? Like if every single one of your, like, we always know that there's one person that has to complain about everything in life, right? We all know that person. Some of us are those people, but some of us people have brothers and sisters that are like that, or friends that complain about absolutely everything. There are going to be those people. The best thing though is to give a really great response, right? And that's what AI is for. AI is wonderful for leaving great responses and helping you leave great responses. But scrolling down here and talking about one of those posts, let's just go here. This is what one of these posts look like. So it's literally like a blog post. We're using it and we're putting in, for instance, for this local business, we're putting in some of the local areas that they cover, right? Because this is the town that it's in Gorham, Maine, but the towns that surround it are Buxton, Maine and Westbrook, Maine. So we're not just trying to optimize just for Gorham. We want to also optimize for, those surrounding areas as well. I always say, listen, nail down who you are, what you do and where you do it, and then expand that radius out. So everybody's like, well, once I'm done with that, well, you're never done with it because you want to do the next town over. This is what I do,
Right.
but I also service this. This is what I do. And I also service here, and it's endless. It truly is endless. So these are what these, what do you call it? Google Business Profile posts look like. So not to beat a dead horse on the Google Business Profile side, but it is incredibly important for your business. Even if you're just not looking for, even if you think that your Google Business Profile is not going to bring you a ton of local traffic, it doesn't matter. It's feeding Google and it's helping the SEO of your website, and your website helps the SEO of your Google Business Profile. They're linked. But also people are going to be checking it to see, do I want to do business with you? The reviews.
Right.
And like I said, this little system that I'm setting up, we'll give you a keychain, we'll give you a card. Somebody just has to tap their phone and it's all RFID and it brings you right to the place where you can leave a review. So like your friends, your patients, your customers, your clients, don't be afraid to leave a review, because the only reviews you're gonna get if you don't ask for them are bad ones. Right? Because people love to leave bad reviews. People oftentimes don't take the time to leave good ones. And the best part about what we're gonna create, and this isn't a pitch session, it's just what it's going to do is you click on this thing, it brings you to a page, and if you say, yeah, I did a great, this company did a great job, or they did a bad job, you do a bad job, it brings you off to a form. So it kind of takes you away from the Google Business Profile of leaving a bad review. And you get to fill out a form that that goes directly to a point of contact at that business. If they say they did a great job, it brings them to a page where an AI will actually write the review for them. So they don't even need to write the review. The AI will write the review for them. And if they like it, they can just post it. And if they want to tweak it, they can tweak it. But the one thing people hate is, oh, I got to leave a review. What am I going to say? I got to write this thing? Oh, that's brutal. But the AI is great because it puts all those little keywords into that review that you want to use to rank. So it's just a beautiful thing. And
Awesome.
even if,
Okay.
you know, you should just be concentrating on getting reviews. But
Right.
I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, and I want to be cognizant of time because I know that we're running low on time. But Google Business Profile, guys, hyper important. If you don't have one, Hubert will leave you my information.
Yes.
Reach out to get in touch with me. I'll talk about this stuff all day long with you. If you don't have one, we
Great.
can always make one for you. If you have one and you want to get an audit of it, we can do a full audit of your Google Business Profile. Tell you what your competitors are doing, what you should be doing. If you have issues with your reviews, let us know. We'll figure anything out. It's not. There's no
Exactly.
there's
And
no
so
issue.
actually, can you stop sharing? And I'll just mention on your behalf, because I know you're kind of a modest guy, and you know, folks, Andrew is like the real deal. As you see, he manages a ton of Google Business Reviews, but he's also a Google insider, meaning he goes to all the conferences there. You know, he's got special connections with Google and all of that. And so obviously he's in high demand and does ongoing monthly packages. But I just want to tell our mastermind members and people, you know, auditing, that Andrew has also decided for us to give like one shot kind of tune up kind of things. So, you know, for as low as a couple of $100, Andrew will, you know, help you get it set up or help you fix something, or, you know, make sure you're in the right direction, you know, a one-time type of thing. I mean, you don't have to be spending hundreds of dollars monthly. You can kind of have a call with Andrew, you know, he'll help you out with a tune up and that sort of thing. So if you're interested in that, just reach out to us or
Yeah,
drop a comment here.
And even if you're not sure, just reach out and get in touch with me. I mean, I don't charge for consultations and stuff like that. It's not like that. So my wife is kind of tired of me talking about this stuff all the time. So she would love the fact that I just speak to somebody else about it.
There you go. That's
I
fun.
told my wife earlier today, I was driving her to the doctor, which is, I didn't have as much time to prepare for this as I wanted to. We had an ice storm here in New York, so I drove her to the doctor. She'd been waiting for this appointment for like 2 months, and she didn't want to miss it. So we're bringing her out, and I go, honey, don't you realize? I go, like, Google now is opening up this whole chat thing. I go through WhatsApp, and she looks at me with the deadest face, and she's like, that's great. Like, just complete dead face, just, that's great. And I looked at her, I go, all right, well, I'm excited about it. You know, like, she doesn't want to
There
hear
you
about it
go.
anymore. So if you guys, like I said, there's tons of different things out there. There's tons of different
And
things that
Andrew,
you can do.
sorry to interrupt, Andrew. If may I have your permission to drop the Andrew at MindTypes address into
Yeah,
the chat
sure,
here?
absolutely.
Okay, so folks, I just dropped that into the chat. It's Andrew at mindtypes.com. And if you just want to connect with Andrew, just send him an email, say hello. Andrew, I have a couple of questions that have queued up here, so I just want to shoot through some of the questions.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And before we leave,
Yep.
Hubie, I just wanted to tell everybody, guys, Hubie also said that, like, I'm really into AI, right? So
Yes.
I just want to let you guys know what I'm going to share with you before the end of this. So somehow I got on every list for every AI news, like, you know, all these different AI news sites that are like, hey, this is the newest AI. They, like, every day I get emails and they're like, oh, check this out, check this out, this out. And on my phone, on Facebook, all my Facebook reels are like new AIs that have come out and everything else. So I'm just taking screenshots of them constantly. And what I've been doing is, I know this sounds crazy, but I have a Google Doc that I'm going to share with everybody. The Google Doc is an absolute mess, okay, because it's just raw. I mean, I'm telling you that, like, I use Gemini to go through all my emails and start stripping out all of these different, new services out and everything else. And I put it into this gigantic, 14-page, and it grows every day, 14-page doc of, and I'm gonna see if I can just bring it up here real fast, of all different AI services. I want to let everybody into it, okay? I want everybody to join in, because this is one of those things where I made this list because there's no way I can test every single AI on this list. There's things that are great. There are things that are garbage. You know, that's just the way that everything goes, you know, like people are just constantly creating all new things, AI, and some of them are just rehashed, you know, crazy nonsense things. Some of them might be perfectly lined up for what you're looking for. Let me just do this real fast, and then, yeah. There we go.
After you drop the link, if you want to share your screen and kind of walk us through the document, that'd be great.
Yeah, actually, that's what I'm gonna do right now, and then,
Nice.
hold on a second, I will copy the link, and if you notice, anybody with the link is an editor, okay? So what I want, guys, is I want everybody's help, and I want this to sort of be a group effort. Go through the list, test some things out, but do me a favor. If somebody wants to like make this list like palatable as far as formatting goes, hey, knock yourself out. That would be awesome. But what I would ask is, like, at the bottom of the list, even if we just started like, I don't know, something like this. And once again, this is just my own thing that I was like, you know what, I'm going to share this with everybody.
Nice.
AI tool.
Very generous of you. Thank you.
In use. Okay, so like in here, if you use something, let's say you go to here, right? You use this replit.com/AI. Put it down here. Like, I use this tool. The tool is great. It's awful. It's awesome. This is what it does. It's free. They suckered me in, and they're, you know, once I got signed up, they're asking me for a payment. So I didn't, you know, just give some sort of like review so everybody else knows, like, all right, maybe I don't have to try that tool. That's what this whole thing is. But this thing, dude, has everything. Okay, I'll leave you.
I know the other day you were super excited about a voice one that you tried that you were.
Okay, I don't know if this is going to come through, but let me see if I can. Hold on one second. I'm going to stop sharing because my screen is like, it's just slowing down dramatically. Let me see here. Okay, so real quick story, guys. Don't judge me. So my boys are involved in this retreat for church. Okay, we went to go see Matchbox 20, and Andy Grammer was opening up for them and everything else. And Andy Grammer grew up 20 minutes from where, if you guys don't know Andy Grammer, he's a singer, right? So he grew up 20 minutes from where I live. He actually worked in all of the big shopping center that we used to go to and everything else. He's like, I got fired from every single one of those jobs, every single one of those stores. But he had a song called Back Home, and they're using that song for this retreat. And the retreat is for the weekend, and they're probably going to play this song, I don't know, 25, 30 times throughout the weekend. I tried to get in touch with Andy Grammer every which way possible. I couldn't. All I wanted him to do is give like a 15 to 20-second message, like, hey guys, welcome to this weekend. It's going to be awesome. I appreciate you guys, listening to my music, and like, let's get the weekend started. I figured that people would blow everybody's mind. Well, I couldn't get in touch with them. So what does the dork like me decide he wants to do?
Oh, no.
I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to find a bunch of Andy Grammer. Well, I found it's on the list. I think it's called play.ht or something like that. And it clones your voice. Okay. And what I did was I cloned Andy Grammer, 30 seconds of audio from a interview that he did. I uploaded into it, and this is what I got. I put a little background music behind it. Let me know if you can hear this. Hold on.
This is Andy Grammer.
Yep.
I just wanted to say a quick hello to my friends at Presentation. I grew up right up the road in Chester, New York. I'd like to welcome you all to Antioch 42. Special shout out to your directors, Rob and Kiki. And just remember, no matter where life takes you, you can always come back home to your family. I hope you enjoy the song as much as I enjoy singing it. Enjoy the weekend, and let's get started.
Okay, were you able to hear that?
Yeah, yes, and it sounds so natural.
Okay, so, I mean, that's great that I did it for his voice, all right? Now, the question is, do I tell the kids that it's AI, or do I just make believe like I don't know nothing, and we just, so you guys can chime in here about what I should do morally. And my son is one of the directors, so it was a shout out to him and the other directors. So like, you're gonna go nuts, but like, I'm sitting here going, I don't know if I tell them, I don't know if I don't tell them, whatever. Long story short, that's that. You guys can chime in and tell me what I should do in reference to that. But where I'm going with this is that I cloned my own voice. I can make unlimited videos, just typing in, I go to ChatGPT, get a small little script. It pops out the audio of it. I just grab a couple of images. I got a faceless, thing, but it's my voice, right? And I could create basically unlimited videos. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Notepad, Notepad from Google. Easiest way, you can just put a website in there and it will actually give you that you can download like up to a 10-minute podcast. Literally that easy. Like, this is my website, and it will give you a 10-minute podcast of your website. That's kind of been out there a little bit. But
yeah, and you misspoke on that one. It's not Notepad, it's Notebook LM.
I'm sorry, Notebook LLM. Right. I apologize. And I use it all the time. Actually, what I've used it for is I've used it because you can upload up to like 50 documents and it will analyze those documents. I take Google patents, I put them up in there. I take Instagram patents, I put them up in there. Take all these different things, put them up in there, and it literally goes through all of these documents and will answer any questions that I have. Even though I've read 230 Google patents, like now, if I had this, I would have been able to blow straight through that. Instead I actually curled up with the freaking printed copy of the patent before I was going to bed and reading this stuff. Guys, there is just so much to do with AI, and everybody, they're talking about AI. But the question is, what is AI and how does AI work for you in your business? So I always said that, the person that makes the most money is not like your ChatGPT. It's the person that can connect, right? Like that ChatGPT that actually does, it spits out content, spits out ideas and everything else, and connect it with something, an AI agent, right? That can actually perform the work, an AI worker, well, they call them AI agents, but somebody that can take that information and actually execute with it, right? Go to your Instagram and post, go to your Facebook and post, go to your blog and post. And that's where everything is starting to develop. And there's a bunch of different ones in that list that I sent out. There was one that I just found like literally yesterday. Agent.ai. I don't even think I put it on the list yet. And they have AI agents that will go out and do all sorts of stuff for you. So AI is supposed to make your life easier, make it more productive. If it wasn't for AI, I wouldn't be able to do as many Google Business Profiles as I do. It allows me to stay on top of everything. So really, guys, jump into this list. You know what? I've shared this list with a couple of other people that like literally 5 other people. Most of them have never even opened up the document. And I'm like, guys, there's 14 pages worth of stuff. Now, as you go through, there's slight descriptions. Maybe they're on, maybe they're off, but a lot of them were scraped. I haven't even gotten a chance to get through, I would say 98% of the stuff on the list. But go through it. It's a great opportunity to even try and figure out where your business can improve and expand with AI. In reference to AI content, right? There's always been this big debate. Google doesn't rank AI content. Google doesn't care whether it's AI content, whether it's a person that wrote it, whether it's a computer that wrote it. It doesn't really matter. Google's like, is this information helpful? That's what they want. Is this information written for the person reading it, and is it helpful? If you answer those questions, you know, if you're able to say yes to both of those, then your content's good. And then just make sure in your content, it's what do you do and where do you do it? Put those together, you got yourself a pretty good winning content strategy.
That's great. Yeah, awesome. Can we just address some of these questions? I'm just going to
Yes.
select I'm going to select a few of them because people have been you know, dropping the questions in. This is from Alina. I believe this is about setting up a good Google business profile. It says for the Google business profile, they want you to take picture and video. Can you bypass that, or do you have to follow those steps? Can you speak a little bit about like setting one up and verifying yourself?
You know what? Hold on one second. I did not. I sent the link just to you, you.
Oh,
Well, I
okay.
just sent out the link to everybody. So, okay, so Google does, if you know, if Google wants photos, if they want video or whatever else, there's still ways to do it. You could take videos of, you know, your office. I can walk you through those steps, and don't mind me, I'm just getting ready to plug in my computer over here because it's telling me, hey, you're gonna die soon. So there are plenty of different ways, yes. If Google's requiring images and video, there's usually a way to provide it. And I can walk you through that. Worst case scenario, I can reach out to Google. I'm a Google business product expert, which means that I help people on the forums. If they have problems with their Google business profile, I help them on the forums. So a lot of times what I can do is I can escalate things to Google support myself. I create a problem, I escalate my own problem, and I say, hey, Google, listen, they're having a really hard time verifying. These are, you know, these are the utility bills, this is that. Now, I'm not going to say that there has not been times where people provide fake utility bills because they don't have a utility bill, right? I saw one utility bill that the person said that they were in New York, and it had like, you know, it was for Orange and Rockland. You might be familiar, Hubie, and like the number on it was like to Pakistan, right? Like the customer service number. I'm like, how'd they not pick this up? And they're like, oh, business is verified. You're all good. You know, I was scratching my head. I was like, oh my gosh, that was so terrible. That was bad. You know, so there are ways around everything. Okay. Google just wants to make sure that you're real. They want to make sure that you're not a spammer and that you're setting up, you know, something just to collect leads and sell leads to people and stuff like that. That's what they're trying to avoid. So yes, verification is probably one of the toughest things to do in certain niches, right? I had a buddy of mine that's a plumber. He works out of his house. And people are like, oh, you can verify out of your house. Yes, it's possible to. What he did was he wound up getting a magnet that he put right on the side of his truck that had the business name and everything else. He showed Google, this is where I am. This is my equipment, you know, and this is a document of, you know, that I'm licensed as a plumber in this state. And that was all Google needed. Boom, they were like, all right, you're good to go. You know, Google's only looking for very specific things with the Google verification, and they want the video to be like less than 2 minutes, and they want it to be short. They don't need you to do a whole walkthrough of your business. They just need you to hit certain specific things. So if you're having a problem with verification or whatever else, feel free to jump out and let me know.
That's awesome. That's great. I'm going to drop your email address again. Everybody, please, this is a valuable contact you're making here with Andrew. So send Andrew a howdy at andrew@mindtypes.com. I'm dropping that into the chat right there. Andrew and Mindtypes.
And yes, Alina, you don't have to show your business address. That they have two different types of businesses. They have physical businesses and service area businesses. Okay. Physical business means that people come to you. A service area business means that you go out to them. So businesses where you go out to them, you don't need to show your address. If you don't want to. Like, let's say you're a consultant. Let's say you're I don't know, you're some type of consultant that goes out to businesses to inspect something or whatever. Yeah, you don't need a business address. And Google and getting those verified are a lot easier than getting a physical address verified.
Great. That's valuable info. That's awesome. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for your time.
I just do need a little feedback. Do I tell them that it's AI, the AI voice, or do I not tell them I'm really tired. I'm really in a moral dilemma.
You are in a moral dilemma because I don't know, Andrew. All right, so Andrew, you know, I'm all about dad jokes on the Mind Types thing. And as your special reward, I have a dad joke about search engines for you, believe it or not. Ready? Okay. Andrew, why did the website bring a ladder? Why did the website bring a ladder?
Why did the website bring a ladder? Because it was trying to get higher in the search results.
There you go, because it wanted to reach the top of the search results.
There we go. See, that's how much of a dork I am. I never heard that joke before, but I was like, oh yeah, that's only common sense.
There you go. Well, Andrew, thank you so much on behalf of our mastermind community. That was awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. And folks, listen, if there is something that if there's something that I didn't touch on, because I mean, SEO is just gigantic, right? And there's something you have a question about, feel free to shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy. I answer emails, and if you had a question that you wanted to jump on the phone and you're like, listen, I can't explain it, just get in contact with me. No problem. Listen, Hubie and Ridgely are my freaking, they are my boys. They're my buddies. So anything I can do for them, you know, it's a pleasure to pay back.
Appreciate that. Here's Mike Paul with a joke as well. Andrew, why did Google's AI break up with its algorithm? It felt like it was being too predictive in the relationship. There's
Oh,
an
you want a
AI
bad
geek,
joke?
AI geek joke for you.
I'll give you a real bad joke. There's this girl that I follow. She does like fake news, BBC One or something, like it's a Facebook reel. And she's interviewing a guy. The guy thinks it's a real interview. And she goes, so everybody's scared of AI. You know, she's like, what about you? And the guy's like, well, I'm not scared of AI. She was like, no, what about you? And the guy's like, once again, I'm not really afraid of AI. She goes, no, the letter U. She goes, AI are both vowels. She's like, U is a vowel. She goes, should we be concerned about the letter U? And the guy's just looking at her like she has 15 heads, you know. But the greatest part about it was that she had just such a dry expression, and he thought it was a real interview. And she's just throwing out questions like this about AI all day long. It was absolutely hysterical. Anyway.
All righty. Well,
So,
Andrew,
guys,
thank you so much.
Thanks
And
so much for
everybody,
your time.
send Andrew a note at andrew@mindtypes.com. All right, Andrew, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All
Bye,
right, guys.
everybody. Thank you all.